In this tutorial we're going to look at taking our 3D model into LayOut and presenting it. So here in SketchUp, it's always a great idea to create your views first before sending it into LayOut. It just makes it a lot easier. So for example, I've got this tree background here. I would potentially want to make that background image bigger or zoom in on my model. So you're holding the control key down on my keyboard with the scale tool, I can make that background image just a little bit wider. And you may just want to zoom in a little bit closer to the model. You can see the shadows are quite dark, so I would look at doing things like going to the shadows and just making sure that they are a lot lighter so that the model stands out a lot better. So let's just right click and update that scene. So go to scene 2. Again, we would need to make the shadows a lot brighter, so let's go 50 for the brightness and then update. And possibly we would like to zoom in again. It's not the end of the world if you don't quite finalize your views within SketchUp. We can make changes to it in LayOut. So here's just a bit of a 3D floor plan, elevation A. So I always like to zoom extents my elevations or floor plans before sending it to LayOut. That way you know for sure that it isn't going to get any closer. So we'll just update each elevation. Zoom extents, update, and I might just again improve those shadows so that the model doesn't look so dark. Go to elevation A again. That one looks pretty cool, but let's just make it a little bit brighter for layout's sake. Zoom extents, right click, update. And those shadows aren't too good, so you may just want to play around with those a bit, just so that the model looks good. And the sight's on, so the grass is on, so I might just need to turn off layer 1 grass, so that when I use zoom extents it actually zooms in nice and close. Okay, so then we've got also a floor plan there that we can use in LayOut. So once you've finished working on that, we can press the save button. So I might actually just hit save. Then we can go to File, Send to Layout. And it's going to ask us if we'd like to open it with a template. And I'm going to go to My Templates and I'm going to select the PCS template. So in an earlier tutorial, I would have shown you how to open a template and then save it as your own. So we're going to select open. If not, I'll actually just quickly show you how to open my template and make it your own. So if I was to go open from the SketchUp Training Resources, SketchUp Resources Templates, you can open up my PCS Layout template. And then you can just go to File, Save as Template, into the My Templates folder, and you can make it your own. And you can change the logo before saving it as a template if you wish. Okay, so you can see some grids on, so it's not making my floor plan look very good, so I might just go to View and turn off the grid. Okay, and I've turned on some extra toolbars, which may look a bit new to you guys. You probably got a much more simplified toolbar. So if you go to View, Toolbars, Customize, and then Commands, you can find all of the toolbars that I've already put up there, and you can just drag them on and drag them off once you're in Customize toolbars. So just look out for the same icons and drag on the toolbars to match my interface. Okay, so as soon as you bring it into Layout, the first things I like to do is just choose my scenes. So I would first click on my scene, and you can see that it gives it a blue outline. I would go and choose my first view. Okay, so we've got that scene there, and you can use the blue edges to drag out the view of the model to make it a bit bigger. You could even take it right out to the box of the template. It will snap to that, and it will fit in that space. If we have a look at layers, you can see the default views on top and the on every page is on the bottom. So you may choose to eventually drag the on every page layer up so that it's in front of the background image, but just be careful that that will always be on top. So whatever layer is above, that's what will be actually above the model. So I might just in fact just make that a bit smaller like so, and we could even just bring in the corners just a tad, just so it takes it off those edges. So this is interesting. When you're dragging a view, sometimes I find it quite hard. It doesn't snap very well. That's because object snap is on. So sometimes I turn off object snap, and you can right click and turn off object snap or grid snap on and off. And then I can drag the corner in a lot more freely without it getting stuck on any other objects or endpoints. Okay, so I quite like that view. The title page, if I click on that, you can see it's blue. If I go to project description, it's red. So that's saying whenever I click on that, one of those items, it shows you that little blue dot to the layer that it's on. If I click on the red one, it shows that it's on the on every page layer. So we might double click on this one and say layout, layout tutorial, and then click away. So that's now on every page, but this one's a unique page, so that's my title page. Okay, so there's some smart things about layout. You now have page number auto text. So if I go and duplicate this page, so if I go to pages, duplicate, it's automatically created the next page and numbered the next page. We've got the exact date, who it's drawn by, scale. That's on every page, but hey, it may not be applicable for the cover page, so you might just want to move that one to the current layer, because if we go back a page on the front page, we don't actually need a scale on that drawing. So if we go to the next page, we've got now the ability to choose some elevations. And so I want to click on that and select my elevation A. And as soon as I've chosen elevation A, I can set my scale, so 1 to 100, for example. And once I've chosen the scale, it preserves the scale on resize. So if I adjust these boxes, the model doesn't try and resize within the blue box. So we can bring that like that, and we can drag it over here. If we want to copy the view, we can hold Control, left mouse click, and drag a copy. And then keep holding Control before letting go of your mouse button. Then you can go and choose elevation B. And I always like to just keep adjusting the boxes to suit. So you can grab this one, hold Control with the left mouse button and Shift this time, and you can lock it in the same sort of axis and direction. So I'm going to go elevation C and Control and Shift and left mouse button, and then this is going to be elevation D. You can also nudge around your elevations just using your arrows. So I'm just pressing my arrows on my keyboard and it's just nudging around the model. Okay, so if I want to add some text, we've already got like an architectural text. So in the SketchUp resources, if we go back, we can go back again, SketchUp resources. I've got an architectural font. If you want to use our font, you can right click on that and you can select install. and then you can make it your own. Okay, so back into SketchUp, sorry, LayOut. Oop. Okay, back into LayOut. We can now click on the text tool, and we can come up here and click, and we can say, okay, this is elevation A, and it's scale 1 to 100. We might just put a bit of a space in there. Then this is quite cool. If we turn back on Object Snap, I can click on that text. If we zoom in nice and close, you can see there's like a little center marker. If I drag that, I can put that on an endpoint. So I drag that and put that on the endpoint there. So now when I copy it, it's going to use that little point to find the bottom corner of each elevation. And then I can just keep copying that text around. Okay, so then it's copied it to the exact location, and I can just go and double click and change the text name. So double click, delete, and then C, double click, D. Okay, so you can also create a series of labels that you could just put into a scrapbook. I haven't got any to show you, but once the labels are in there, you can just click on it and you can bring in that label instantly, so you don't have to just always create those elevation text names. If you want to do some annotations, you've got the label tool here for the leader text. I can click on a face, then click away, and then click again. And you can give it a name if you like, so we'll just go plaster cladding, and sometimes it looks better if it's all on capitals. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. Okay, so then let's say I want to create now another page for the floor plan. I could select the model or a view and go right click copy. And I'm going to select pages, and I'm going to select add this time. So I want to add a new page without all the other pages, and then I can right click and select paste. And now I can select floor plan. So if we go to my scenes, I can select my floor plan, actually my scene 8, because that scene 8 was an actual 2D floor plan. It's still to scale, so it's just a matter of resizing the blue box to fit everything in. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so if I zoom in, you can see that the quality of the lines aren't too bad, but if I want to make them better, I can select hybrid or vector. Hybrid will maintain the colors of the model and make the edges crystal clear. So that could be a good option for you. So if you zoom in, you can see you've got nice, clean, quality lines. Okay, so to do dimensioning, you click on the dimension tool. We can come over to here and click one, click the next, and come up and click where we want to place it. We can then choose the next point, so double click, double click, double click, and double click. So it's really quick and easy to do. And if I want to do an overall over that, just that section there, I can bring that up like that. If, for example, I don't want to have like a leader line coming from the 90, I could right click on that and select convert to no leader. Then I could drag the 90, whoops, so I go undo, edit undo, double click on the 90, and then I can drag that up just a little bit closer to the dimension lines. And I can use my arrows just to nudge it into place if I want to get it nice and close. Unfortunately, LayOut creates quite long leader lines, so if you want to shorten them, you need to double click on the dimension tool and then drag them up to line up with the other leaders. And you sometimes need to do that for both dimensions. So what I do is just double click on a dimension, drag the leader line up, escape on my keyboard, double click again, drag it up, escape. Double click, drag it up, escape. Double click, drag it up, escape. Okay, and one last one to do. Okay, so you can create quite nice looking dimensions. Then again with text, you can just write your labels and copy those around holding Control. Okay, so it's very quick and easy to do that. Okay, so let's say we want to make some changes. To make a change, you need to go back to SketchUp. And let's say I'm just going to draw a circle, just so you know it's a clear change, and that I want to see reflected in LayOut. So I hit the Save button, go to LayOut, and now there's two ways to update the model. I can right click on the model and select Update Model Reference, or if you want to really make sure it's going to update, we can go to File, Document Setup, go to References, make sure that the file that's being referenced is the actual file. So at the moment it's showing that it's not actually sorry, it has found it, but it's just showing that it's out of date. So we can click on the out of date model and we can select update here. If you, for example, misplace the model, it will show that it's missing, and then you can relink it to go and find whereabouts that model is on your computer. So if we go to update now and then close, you can see the circle's now been added to the floor plan. So one last time, we'll go back to SketchUp. Let's delete that circle, hit the Save button. So you made a change, back into LayOut, right click, Update Model Reference, or File, Document Setup. And we can select the out of date model and then update. If there's any unused drawings in your layout file, you can select Purge, and it will delete any missing files or unused SketchUp files, and it could just make your file a lot smaller as well. Okay, so there's a pretty brief overview of how to use LayOut. One last thing I might add is just you can insert quite a few different types of content. So insertable content, you've got SketchUp models, raster images, text, tables. So for example, if we had Training Notes 2 layout, we could grab a logo and insert that, and we could put that anywhere on the model.